Hi there, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanna, I'm a colorist and creator of thematic color palettes. I'm diving today into the embroidery coloring trend, but with crayons and colored pencils. I will share the coloring process of this page in just a moment, but first let me set the stage. I was so intrigued by the style that I just had to try it, and since I don't have many markers, I went with Crayola crayons, colored pencils, a touch of gel pens, a white Posca pen, and some fine liners. And let's just say that I can definitely can imagine being happier with the result. But hey, failures are inevitable in our coloring journey, and in the spirit of creative experimentation and staying true to Polish tradition of good-natured complaining, I just wanted to share the process with you anyway. Please let me know in the comments below, have you ever tried embroidery coloring? If so, what's your go-to medium and favorite type of coloring pages for it? I'm asking because I realized that my first mistake was choosing the wrong page. I picked the simplest one I could find in my collection, which happened to be this tulip page from Flowers Coloring Book for Adults by Colorful Escapism. Only it still wasn't simple enough. I don't have any of those bold and easy or cute and cozy books that flood Amazon, and my growing anti-consumerism or minimalism nudged me to work with what I already have. For my color palette, I went with Hibiscus color palette from my Hues of Bloom and Beauty book. It's also a part of my printable freebie bundle. I will leave the link in the description box below. And you definitely want to check this freebie out if you want to immerse yourself in colors of renewal and transformation. Speaking of my mega freebie bundle, I wanted to say huge thank you to everyone who took their time and left the review on Gumroad. Your kind words and excitement genuinely make my day and keep my personal celebration of my new cycle rolling. So thank you for that very much. Looking back, I wish I had used more colors to match the complexity of the page. After all, there are 9 tulips in here and I tackled them only with 2 color schemes of bittersweet, color blush, gold and jasmine. And it wasn't my brightest idea. Alright, having that said, let's jump into the process and see how this turned out. First, I start with a base layer using Crayola crayons. As I mentioned, I decided to use only 2 color schemes for the tulips. Once the petals are filled in, I add scribbled lines across each petal, gently curving them to follow the natural unfolding of the flower. These darker lines will later create depth and dimension in the structure. I repeat the process for each flower and leaf separately. Apologies for the shadows in the video, even though this phase wasn't too time consuming, part of the coloring was done in daylight and part under artificial light in the evening. Once the entire design is covered with a waxy layer of crayons, I clean my blending stub, wiping off any leftover pigment from the previous coloring to avoid ruining the page, at least not yet. I love using a blending stub with crayons because the friction melts the wax into the paper, making the surface smoother and ready for detailing with colored pencils. It's also great for seamless blending of different crayons colors. If you want to learn more about how to blend wax crayons, be sure to check out this video. Once the base layer is complete, I match my swatches and select 3 shades of colored pencils for each color already on the page: light, medium and dark. Later, I will regret not grabbing a few extra, especially deeper tones for added depth. Oh, my sweet laziness! For the best result, I start by filling the space between stitch lines with medium shade, then layer the lightest color, and finally add the darkest shade at the base of each section. I apply the colored pencils in multiple linear but curved strokes to mimic texture and give the design a more organic, soft look. To enhance the stitched effect, I use Arteza gel pens. Their fine tip helps deepen the stitch lines while keeping the texture natural. Because I couldn't wait to see the final effect, I started outlining the first flower with the seam lines before even finishing the other elements. I used a fine liner to draw tiny black lines, not worrying about making them perfect. After all, it's not Richelieu embroidery, it's my freestyle. Pro tip: if you want to try embroidery coloring, start simple. A cozy armchair or a cute cup of coffee. Not necessarily a bouquet of 9 tulips with layers upon layers of petals and leaves. Trust me on this one. Just when I thought I was finally done, I decided to add background. I used a glittery blue silky crayon, applying it with my trusted makeup brush. It shimmers beautifully under the light, and, important fact, these are the same brushes I used for blending Neocolor II crayons into the pastel-like effect. If you want to learn that trick, check out this video. First up, more threads. I grab my white Posca marker and draw short curved strokes around to create a fluffy texture. Then, one by one, I go over every flower and leaf. At this point, impatience kicks in, especially as I realize just how many tiny black lines I still have to add. The more stitches I draw, the more I realize how endless this process is. Kind of like feeding my dog. She's never full. And after what was supposed to be a quick coloring session, but somehow turned into way too many hours, here it is, the final page. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the video and, most importantly, that you learned from my mistakes. See you! Until next time, bye bye!